RootsOfTheSwampThing.com, your definitive online source for all things Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing is heating up. A brand new series coming from Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. A brand new TV series on DC's streaming service online. RootsOfTheSwampThing.com. A lot of stuff about his history, what he's doing today, and everything in between. Go to RootsOfTheSwampThing.com for more information. Welcome to Wednesday Comics.
Brought to you by RootsOfTheSwampThing.com and SuperCon 2018 Return to the Con.
Hey everyone, keep turning those pages.
Welcome to Wednesday Comics. To my right, we have Spider-Ham himself. Alex, how you doing?
Hello everybody.
And across from me, Peter Parker himself. Garrett, how you doing?
Doing all right.
And I am Marvin, your host, Miles Morales. We are here at the Wednesday Comics podcast. We are a weekly comic book podcast telling you this week the books that came out on the 28th of November. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Dude, I don't even know what date it is today. Second? Okay. 2nd of December, we are, if you can notice from Alex and Garrett's tones, doing this over the phone again, we had a snowstorm. It wasn't as bad as they said it was going to be, but...
No,
still,
nowhere close.
Were you guys out today? Alex, you were out today. Was it how icy?
Yeah, and it wasn't bad. The main roads weren't bad. The side roads, yeah, a little snowy, but nothing I couldn't make it through with my two-wheel drive.
Garrett, you going anywhere today?
Yeah. It wasn't that bad at all. I thought that everything was perfect.
Do you know?
Heck, I saw Garrett out yesterday catching Pokemon.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it didn't turn out as bad as... Well, it turns out dry air. Alex, you know anything about that? You're a weatherman. Dry air, so we didn't get as much snow as they thought. That's what I heard.
Correct. A lot of it went down south.
A lot of it went down south. You know, when this weather starts coming, that means it's towards the end of the year. And I had a question for you guys. Coming up here the next... the last couple of weeks of December, we always talk about like the best books of the year, and we have some categories we go over. I was wondering, while you guys are like, we're getting to that season, overall as a year, not specific books, what do you guys think? How was 2018 in terms of comics?
I think, to be completely honest, that it's a little lackluster. Like, there's some great content that's come out, but I feel like 2018 is a victim of delays. Like, so many books have been delayed this year. I don't know. I just feel like there was nothing in my mind that's like, holy shit, this is the best comic ever right now. Like we
have in 2015.
Well, yeah, but now Saga isn't going to be gone for a year.
Well, I know. I actually kind of agree with Gary. I feel like when we do our best new series, there's a lot to pick from. But in terms of best book, like the books last year that were on that list, I bet if we go back and look at that top 5, I bet all but one of those books are delayed and haven't came out this year at all. Or like it came out once or twice.
So Royal City is done. So it can't be on this list this year. Saga, like Garrett said, is going to be gone for a year.
Department H is done.
Department H is done. There's a lot of books that were solid starting in 2016 or 2017, ended maybe in 2018, and that was at the beginning of the year. So now in the last half, I would say has been a little weaker. There are specific titles that are amazing, but as a whole, it probably is a little more... It's quieter on this back half, which is unfortunate because we started out so strong.
Well, Royal City...
Yeah, it's like there's books that are like, they're all about momentum, and then for some reason, like, after the first arc, it's just like, well, this is what we're going to do instead. Like, oh, okay.
Well, didn't Royal City run into August? The last issue came out in August? So, I mean, that's still a contender. It came out for 8 out of
I just
12.
mean, like, there wasn't a lot of content.
No, it wasn't
like,
you.
Yeah, I could list,
Alex
like,
said
Gideon
that
Falls.
Royal City's done with, so that can't be nominated. I was like, well, 8 issues came out this year. And usually, what was it, like 3 weeks, like an arc? I think 2 arcs came out from Royal City this year. So that would still be a contender. But
that's like 200 comics ago, you know?
Yeah, I know. It's been 4 months here. I think the last third of this year. There's nothing really that. I mean, I think the only thing is Batman like in Heroes in Crisis, like, but even those, I don't know how much excited I am, like with Royal City and those kind of books which were fresh. Actually, there's one book I can think of that actually is like that, and I won't mention it that way. You guys can't guess what it is, but
I've got maybe one book that is relatively new that I would actually say is one of my favorite books coming out. But other than that, there's not a whole lot of things other than specific issues that I remember that I really enjoyed.
So, I mean, that's not to say that there isn't consistent good work, but there's nothing that really stands out in my head. Like last year, I felt like I had a hard time picking the top 5. And this year, it's more being like, what's standing out this year? Like, there's a lot of good stuff, but does it deserve to be in my top 5? That's what I'm thinking. Last year, I was like, okay, what do I cut out of this? So, I mean, I was just thinking about that today because I was thinking about what I would put on that list, and I only thought of like 1 or 2 books. So we'll see. I mean, there was one book that definitely, like, I can think of that I really did love, and it would be on that list. So that's not hard. I think the top of my list is really easy. It's that 5 through 3 that I'm going to have difficulty being like, okay, what's 5 through 3 for me? Okay, end of the year. But boys, it's still the end of November. So we're here and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about Heroes in Crisis. That's Tom King and Clayman. Also, actually, Lee Weeks did most of the art. If you looked at the credits, Clayman just did the first and last page, and then Lee Weeks did the rest of the issue, which was surprising to me. But it's still actually, I think maybe it looks a little bit better. Clayman's good, but I like Lee Weeks.
I never even noticed that there was a change. It was so fluid that I didn't notice.
They didn't put anything to the last page when there was that 9-panel grid, and it says Clayman did pages 1 and 20, which basically are those 9-panel grids, and the rest is Lee Weeks. What did you guys think of the Heroes in Crisis number 3?
I think it's kind of what we were wanting, is to have some flashbacks, because basically when the series picked up, we don't even see some of these characters we know, like, going through a rehab program. We just find them dead in the first issue. So this was really good, I think, to kind of go back and see why, Roy Harper was there, Booster Gold coming there for the first time, like all these characters, Wally West getting there. This is what I was expecting and I was hoping for, is kind of see their story and like how it goes from them arriving at Sanctuary to their deaths.
Yeah, and I think we got a clue here, and I'm not sure. I was looking on the internet for people's reactions, and I don't think most of them picked up on it because they were. Here's the one thing about this issue that they were angry about, and I bet you guys will agree. But let me tell you why maybe it's not what we think it is. That where she kills Wally, Harley Quinn kills Wally with the hammer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people online were like, how is she so strong and fast that she would kill a speedster? And at the last page, when we get to the last page, the 9-panel grid, because remember, this place is for Heroes in Crisis. And we get to that last page, and Nemesis, where it says Nemesis just that, I got a week behind me. Nemesis is a character who has super strength, and his other power is he's a master of disguise. So I'm thinking that's not even Harley Quinn. That's him.
Oh.
We'll see. But also, like, when we saw her take Wonder Woman's lasso and, like, had them all, like, they were all caught off guard because they weren't expecting that from her. So I feel like that part of the story is going to be revealed that's not actually her. We'll see, though. I'm not sure. I might be wrong, and she actually is being beefed up for this story. But to me, that still rings like there's, like, it rings in the story that it's being told to you, being like, how can this happen? Like, every time she does one of those things, everybody's always, like, confused. They're not like, oh, yeah, she is that strong. Like, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman were caught off guard. And they weren't like, oh, yeah, that's Harley. They just were like, they were caught off guard that she would do that. So that's what I
thought. Wally's leg was, like, shot with something. That's what stopped him from running.
He was in, so you know how he was in the, seeing his family in that hologram place?
Yeah.
Everybody had been killed, and he was staying in there, even though he heard emergency. So he ran out, and then he grabbed Red Arrow and said, what did I do with the kids? I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to be alone. So, like, he's upset because he's like, I took so long because I didn't want to leave the hologram and leave my kids behind. and now everybody's dead because I was too slow to react to it. But he was just laying there, and she hit him in the head. He wasn't injured at all. But if you see like 2 pages before, he's actually just running outside.
Oh yeah, he's like coddling Roy's body.
Yeah, and she just sneaks up and hits him in the head. So.
Well,
Yeah,
then-
so he's
but
a
then
victim
that-
of circumstance. Like
I say
even
then
speedsters
it's
can
not
get
like-
surprised.
It's not like she overpowered him. She just bashed his head with the
Well,
hammer.
the guy, he's got a quick reaction. He would have
Yeah,
heard
but
that
he's-
coming.
Well, he doesn't have
he's
spider
broken.
sense.
We'll see. If it is her, it is her. Whatever, and maybe your guys' what you guys just said will become true, or maybe it'll turn out it's not her. So I'm just saying there's a possibility because we have somebody in the house that we know is somebody who dresses up. So overall, I do agree with Garrett too. I think this is what we've been looking for, more answers. I like the flashback aspect of it, what that house means to these heroes, what they're trying to get rehabilitated, and also for character moment. So there's a lot of plot points here, but also I feel like Booster Gold, Wally, there's great character moments from those two characters that we get here, like Booster acting like he's happy, and then he goes in and he breaks down, and you can tell he's really messed up, but he has his personality that people expect him to have, so he's trying to keep that up. And then Wally, after finding out that he used to have a family, he used to have kids, and now he has to live with they don't really exist anymore. Like that is so. When he was in there, he's like, I want to live in this reality. I don't care if it's not real. I'm going to live in here because I want to be with my family and my kids. And then he couldn't leave even when there was a real life thing going on. And so other people actually died because of it. Like that part for me was probably, out of the first 3 issues, probably the most powerful part was that he's like, I'm not going to leave. And then he left. He's like, well, I should have left, but I couldn't leave my kids again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What was Lagoon Boy doing? He kept letting himself get shot with a laser beam
Yeah. So
that he's not surprised.
the Teen Titans, he said, got shot with the laser beam, and he was the only one who didn't. And so he wanted to feel it over and over again because he had survivor's guilt about it. So he just kept getting shot and shot and shot until he thought it would go away eventually, but he still had it, even though he got shot. So he kept doing, let's go again, because he thought it would go away, but it never went away.
When did the Teen Titans get laser beamed?
I don't know.
In some storyline in the past.
But yeah, I don't think
Oh,
it's
I
like
see.
recent.
It's not necessarily going on now. Okay.
It could have happened in the current title. I guess I don't remember any.
I'm not getting
Titans
Teen
book
Titans, so I
where-
guess I don't know.
yeah.
But
Yeah, I was going to say, I haven't written Teen Titans in a while, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
But overall, I liked it.
It's good. This is one of those issues that I guess I don't know what I'm expecting from it, so I read it as it was. It was good. I enjoyed it. But it wasn't like a 10 for me. This has maybe been like an 8.
I'm sitting at a 9 because this is what I've always wanted from this book is to, it would have been nice, and I think I'm glad that they're doing this, is I wanted to see how Sanctuary functioned before it got destroyed. So, I'm very thankful that, they're doing flashbacks. I think that's just going to make a better story overall.
I give it a 9.
Is it meant to look like Superman's house?
Yeah.
Like Mom, Pa, Kent?
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to? Okay.
I give it a 9. I really like the art in this issue. Lee Weeks did a great job. Clayman's issues were great, but something about Lee Weeks' style that I actually enjoy a lot. It's a lot warmer, I feel. Not so... Like, Clayman just feels a little shiny. I'm not sure. You would have to look at them side by side to understand what I'm saying, but Lee Weeks' art, I think there's more... Like, especially that Booster Gold page and that Wally page, there's more humanity in the faces, and I feel like for this issue, it works. So I don't know if it was a planned thing or it was just for time, but if it was planned, I see why. But it was a strong night for me.
Sorry. I always feel like Clayman is more of the a good action artist. Where I think Lee Weeks, much like we saw in Batman, what was the arc?
The Freeze?
Cold Days.
Yeah, Cold Days. Where you need that, you need to see that humanity, you need to see that more personal.
Well, most of
look
the
on
scenes,
everybody.
yeah, most of the scenes were just people talking. So that's what Lee Weeks I think does best is when they talk, they're emoting their faces to a point where, like on Flash on that page, and like I said before, Booster Gold, both of them, you're like you feel so bad just from empathy from looking at them rather than what they're saying. So it was great. I liked it. Alex, what else we got?
We got Terrifics number 10, written by Jeff Lemire and art by Victor Bogdanovic. Okay, so this was probably the first issue of Terrifics. 1, I was excited to read it. 2, when I got done reading it, I was like, holy shit, that book was good.
Oh,
Fantastic
it
Four
was probably
split up.
my favorite issue of the series. Like it was like a finale issue of the arc, and it like tied everything together. That art, Victor Bogdanovic, or however you say his name, like he did Action Comics for a bit. Like I love that art style. He can do like a face really, really good. And yeah, the story was just so interesting. Having this team no longer bound together, now they can separate. Like, the Phantom Girl, gets the blunt because she's just like, oh, this is my family. And then once the family doesn't have to be tied together, they're like, fuck off, bye.
I think I'd agree with you. I think this may be the strongest issue I've read. And I think a part of it is that we also read Fantastic Four this week, that this felt like a good team book. And yet now that obviously they're not going to be a team for a couple of issues. But I actually feel for these characters, and I actually feel like it made me sad, and I kind of felt the same way that Phantom Girl felt. I thought we were friends. I thought we were a family. I thought we were in this together. And Mr. T is like, bro, not no more.
Yeah.
So
I thought also, so I agree with you guys. I really did enjoy this issue. It felt fun. And actually, for the first time, so a lot of the issues have been kind of like one-shots, or like Alex was saying, they're kind of like, after you're done, like, oh, that was cool. But this is the first one where I was like, okay, I want to read the next issue. And also, though, because they announced recently, like silently, not really like a big press release, but I think Jeff said in an article that he's done with Terrifics after like the next few issues.
Oh, sad.
And I forgot who's taking over that book. But so I think Jeff has a story to tell. And then after that, he's like, I have nothing else to do with this book. And then, but DC wanted to keep the book around. I'm not sure. We would have to see. But when I saw this ending, I was like, okay, I feel like there's one more arc for Jeff, and then this book's done. Because I remember looking, whatever he said, I remember thinking that it was soon. So I did get a little sad also, like Phantom Girl. I was like, okay, this is now getting to a point where I'm really into this book. And then I also realized, well, okay, well, only for a little bit, and then I guess we're going to be done with this thing. Well, I'm not sure. I have to see who the next person is and what they're going to do.
That might actually right there be the definition of what we were talking about in the Free Talk, is that I think the creators of these comics this year are doing such great work, but they're so busy they can't stay on a book, or they fulfill their vision of what they want to tell. And we're getting these very short arcs, and nothing's like staying long anymore or long lasting. So, like DC Super Age or Age of Heroes, like all those books got canceled except for Terrifics, Silencer, and another one. I don't know, but like all those are being canceled.
Well, I think
Sideways too.
Sideways too. Yeah, I'm bummed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sideways is being canceled.
I think in this market today, you need a lot more to stay around. And so a lot of these books are being shorter. Either they start shorter, like they can't promise that it'll be an ongoing, so it's planned to be 1 arc, 2 arcs, or 12 issues, or they let it run and see, okay, we think this might pick up an audience, and then nothing happens, and they got to let it go. So it's sad. I mean, but that's the way comics have been. But I think it's more apparent now because there's more quantity of books coming out, especially on the Marvel side. I think they're pumping out a lot of books, and they can't sustain themselves, and so that's why we get that. But it's sad, though, because usually the smaller books like that aren't the big titles that have more interference from editors are usually the best books, and they're usually the ones we enjoy, and then they get canceled because nobody else is reading them because they got to pick up 50 other books. So, not that they have to, but if they're me, they would drop them all. So this was a good 8 for me. This was a good 8.
I got to give it a 10. Like, I enjoyed from cover to cover. Art was good. I thought that Java as Doc Dredd, I think his name is.
Yep.
I thought that was a pretty cool concept about how his ploy is basically that he's in love with Stag's daughter. Was it Sapphire? Yeah. So I think the team worked great together. Plastic Man was funny as always. Like, it just was a good time. And, you really felt like, how do I say that? Yeah, you feel for Phantom Girl, and like, you're like, yes, this team is awesome. And then they're like breaking up, and you're like, oh, no way. Like, they just got together. So, I like to hear that like Jeff's doing another arc, because I think he's going to probably give us a really good arc about that team reconnecting before someone else takes over.
I think this is one of those books you almost just need to let it die with Jeff. I mean, I like the characters, but I'm so attuned into how Jeff writes these characters, and who knows? I guess I don't know who's taking over the book. Maybe it'll be someone really amazing. Excuse me, but I'd give this actually a 9. I enjoyed it. There's a lot of things it's not perfect for me, but this really got me excited to continue reading this series. And the art was great. The story is great. Who doesn't love Jeff Lemire? So I'm ready for issue 11, though. I'm actually kind of nervous now knowing that it's ending.
I'll look up who it is if Garrett, you want to tell us what the next book is.
Yep. We got Black Panther number 6, written by Ta-Nehisi Coates with art by Jen Partel and colors by Triona Farrell. So this issue, we have a different artist, and it's about the story of the villain, which I can't remember his name.
That's Killmonger.
This is Killmonger?
Yeah, and Jadaka is Killmonger.
Oh, I wasn't picking up on that. Because they don't really ever say that it's Killmonger.
Well, they don't call him Killmonger or Eric or anything like that. They call him as Jadaka.
Yeah. See,
But
I don't know enough about Black Panther to know that's Killmonger.
Well, he's even wearing the black leopard suit.
Oh yeah, but
or black jaguar.
This is the future, man. This is a galaxy far, far away.
I was wondering why his suit seemed so weird. And now we find out that it's a Clintar suit that he's wearing.
Yeah, that for me was the biggest thing. I was like, oh, so that was cool. I thought. I can't find who's writing that book, but I thought that was a really cool moment where he realizes that the only way he could have. So basically, they promised him, they're like, hey, we want you to lead us, but he always said you would never be you're not the chosen one. You would never be the one that eventually would lead this group, but we need you to help them find that person. And he basically was like, no, I want to become king of this group. So he goes and, lets himself be bonded with the symbiote. And now he has all this power. And so now it's basically he's trying to take over the kingdom while the chosen one is now finally here. So the art change did not bother me at all. I really do love this art. I actually thought for this issue specifically, I'm not sure how it will be in the future with the action scenes, but this one here I thought actually was a good choice, and actually I think made this issue better. And this issue was fantastic. And when it ended, I was like, no, let's keep going. Because I know the next one's not going to come out for 2 months.
Well, I think that this art style fits the best for at least this arc. If it's all going to be about Killmonger, and I'm guessing that we're going to get Black Panther showing up here shortly. This is probably my strongest and most favorite issue we've had of Black Panther so far. I love Killmonger even more now than I used to. This is a solid 10 for me.
This was strong. So I guess what I don't understand, is Clintar is the symbiote?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the Black Panther suit that he's wearing is out of symbiote.
Yeah, it's the same species that Venom is.
Huh. Interesting. That is a very cool concept. And, I guess for me, and if any other fans just started reading this book, if you don't know, I didn't know Killmonger's name was Ninjadaka. I just thought he was the new villain. Still was amazing. I didn't know that was Killmonger this whole time, and still thought it was an incredible book. So, I really wish they would have let you know that, but I guess you had to know the character more. But yeah, Jen Bartel, the art on this is so good, and she does the art for Blackbird. Oh, it looks so good. So I'm really enjoying her artwork, and I can't wait to see what she does in the future. I would give this book a 9.
It was a 10 for me. This issue specifically, I think, is fulfilling what I want from Black Panther. This here, so we've got a lot of action up to this point, but this one here was a lot of T'Challa and the political part of Wakanda that I enjoy. So this issue for me was okay, we're still going to get that. It's just that he is also giving us the action while we're getting this too. So I enjoyed it a lot. The art was fantastic, I thought. So this was actually probably my favorite book I read this week.
Well, and it shows, at least in this issue, it shows, I want to say, the greed or how power hungry Killmonger is, because now he goes up against Bast, the god of Wakanda, the Panther god that bestows the Black Panther power onto T'Challa and all the kings of Wakanda, and we see that Killmonger wins.
Yeah. 'Cause
with having this symbiote. He bites her, and now he's corrupted her powers into his own now. Like this, I thought this was so good. It makes me excited for the next issue, even though we're waiting probably a month and a half to get it.
yeah, the last page of this issue for me was like, it made me a little sad that I was like, okay, like Alex just said, it's gonna be a while, but because the next it says book 2, The Gathering of My Name, and just even like that whole book 2, Gathering of My Name, was like, oh god, I can't wait. It's just, I don't know if that's gonna be like there's a break between the books, or we're gonna get the next one when we normally get it. I guess I have to check it and see.
It's coming out in 2 weeks.
No,
12th.
get out of town.
Yeah. So actually quicker than we are anticipating.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see if that turns out to be true or not. Man-Eaters, number 3, Chelsea Kane, Kate Manikic, Rachel Rosenberg.
Text me when you guys are ready for me to get back on.
Joe, what?
He doesn't want to get this book spoiled for him because he did it to
Oh,
PCBS.
okay. Oh, that's right. Okay. I was confused for a second. He's like, oh, is he done doing this podcast? What's going on? So this issue basically is mostly a flashback.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you a question about this issue. I actually love this issue. It's probably my favorite one out of the 3. It felt a little like a Lost episode structure. We had a main story that was present day, and then there was a flashback telling you how this all started, or like some sort of story to kind of fill out a character, which was our main character. For me, I was like, okay, this is basically like how Lost used to do the episodes. I mean, it's because I've been rewatching Lost recently, but
Oh, really? Nice. Yeah, I would agree. Like, there's actually so much about this story that we didn't understand without these flashbacks, to the point that it's like she's choosing to have her period so that she can turn into a panther. Like, she is not trying to suppress her hormones. She's trying to let them be free, which is why she's turning into a murderous beast. But she's doing it with a group of friends. Like, that was an interesting take. I was like, whoa. So this whole time you think she's like an outcast. She's by herself. She's experiencing this for the first time. And she is, but it's like kind of part of her plan, to be honest. And, it's funny that she's getting, I remember when she went to the men's break room area and stole all their suppressing hormones or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would have a hormonal boost in the men's break room. That part I don't.
No, it's a blocker. That drink. So they have bottled water and bottled sparkling water that has no estrogen in it because the public water system has estrogen blocker, I believe. So that way.
Oh, so this was estrogen-free water.
Yeah. So that way.
Oh.
They wouldn't have their period. So I don't necessarily think she was trying to turn into that. I mean, she knew it would be a possibility, but I think she just was like, why am I being treated differently? Fuck the system. I'm going to do this because why should I be treated different than the boys? Like when they was like, hey, that's your water over there. And she's like, no, I'm going to take this water here. Like just her fighting the system, and she got a bunch of girls to do that. I think that was like, they don't care that they turn into panthers because they're like, no, I'm not going to be treated any differently just because I turn into a panther if I have my period. Like I should be able to do whatever the guys do too. Like they have their own lounge and everything. So I think it was her fighting the system and not carrying the consequences, which for me, I really enjoyed that part of it because once again, like this book kind of, even though there's an in-story, like there's a lot of things that are real life issues, but they blow it up in a way to make it seem absurd. But then you think about it, being like, okay, well, really, like the beginning part when there was a lot of sex education for the dudes and for the ladies, they were kind of like, okay, well, that's like, they really don't go into it that much. And it's really true because a lot of things are focused to make sure that guys are okay. And then girls are like, okay, no, whatever, you're secondary to that. So for that part of it, I enjoyed. And then we also got the side story of the investigation of the crime scene still with the corgis. They sent out the corgis to find the trail. Are corgis tracker animals?
I think so, actually. So that's, I guess they can hunt panthers.
Yes. So that story, they go and find it, and eventually they find out that, so the panther gets away and they find bike tracks, and they're like, okay, so they turn back into a human. And she's like, no, like they stay a panther for like 24 hours. She's like, there's no way. But I'm thinking maybe if they've been drinking that water for a while, that maybe they've learned to control it. And so now we have panthers that are able to change back and forth without it being, because before it said that it did it when they had their period, and then in the beginning part was like it's uncontrollable. So maybe we're at a point now where they're learning to control it, and so that's why it doesn't make sense. They're like, no, she would be a panther for 48 hours, and he's like, well, somebody rode away in a bike, and they would have been right here. So I think maybe that's where it's going with the story. But anyways, overall, I think this is the strongest issue in terms of the plot, but in terms also of being enjoyable. Like the characters in this issue, I think all the characters.
Yeah, I
really
think character development was huge in this issue as well. Like, I think we're just finding out what's the main character's name. I can't think of her name.
I actually was just about to ask you. Let me pull it up here. I have it right here.
But yeah, like I think finding out more about her quirks and like her relationship with her dad and estranged mother, basically, like, and it's kind of fun seeing the mom and dad out in the field, like working together, like kind of being forced in a sense, but you just kind of feel that chemistry between them, and it is very funny that they're like forced into a situation where they have to work together.
Looking at what did they name her? I can't find it here. So, anyways, at the beginning, what I was talking about the real life. So at the beginning, they're teaching them sex education. They're like, but testosterone, here's all the stuff you'll get, and be like, you're gonna have great hunting ability, math proficiency, speeding. You'll have facial hair, like, and that's really true, because when they teach guys, they're like, you're gonna get facial hair, you're gonna get muscles. Like, it's good that you have more testosterone. And then for the ladies, they'll be like, okay, you're gonna get moody, you're gonna be able to retain weight, you're gonna get pimples and all this stuff like that. Like, they're all negatives, and it's not to be celebrated. Where the guys are like, oh yeah, it's good you're going through puberty, and the ladies are like, okay, well, here's all the negatives that's gonna happen to you. So I really did enjoy those 2 pages where they kind of explained how that works in society. I don't know what her name is. And also the back matter is actually pretty cool too. Hey, what do you think?
I do enjoy that, like the articles and whatnot.
Yeah, it kind of builds this world, but it doesn't. So some new books tend to have an issue, or not an issue, like not a comic issue, but like an issue with building worlds, and they try too hard up front to like build a world right away because they want to get that out of the way. Or this back matter does a good thing because it builds it in a way where it's not necessary for us to slow down the plot to tell all this stuff, to have exposition. It's just back there so you can just read it and be like, okay, well, now I kind of understand this world a little more.
Yeah, and I think this book's also taking a page out of Lazarus' Handbook, where, they're doing their own ads, like on the back cover, like on the inside back cover. Like, I think that's really fun, and you're right, it does world build as opposed to just like, well, here's our fake comic, like, fictional world. It's more like we're fully immersed in it.
The choice on that one page that when they had the news broadcast to have real pictures in it, have a real lady and not a drawing.
Yeah.
When I got there, it like threw me off, but then also I thought it was a little cool. Like, I'm not sure what to think of that.
They've done that in every issue. There's been like at least one actual image. I don't know why they're doing it, but
I guess maybe that's the first time I noticed. I don't know. It's just a style choice, I think. Maybe that things on the TV are showing up like real pictures. I'm not sure, but whatever.
Yeah.
I did like it though. And the last page where you see her eyes kind of light up kind of goes towards my theory that she can control it. And she's like, the cat wants out. So it almost seems like now they're taking charge of their puberty and not going to be a victim of it. So like that for me right there was like, okay, I see where the book's going. And I do enjoy where it's going. For me, this was a very strong 9.
Yeah, I'd give it a 9 as well. I think only so because like I didn't really understand the whole water scene. Like I didn't get that she was just drinking, because like the whole book they're like, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, and then she's just like getting this estrogen-free water, and then. But it's like, you're going to turn into a panther, but I guess you find out later in that it's the same issue that she planned it from the beginning. So
yeah, I think it was more of like, fuck the system. I'm just going to do what I want. So
yeah,
fuck the system. Yeah, that's how I do it.
There's Alex Pastrello. We were just saying fuck you too. So Man Eaters, number 3. Liked it. Alex, what else do we get?
We got Justice League Odyssey number 3, written by Joshua Williamson, art by wasn't Steven Sajak this week. It was the art. The cover was Steven Sajak, but I think the art was Briones.
Could have been. I don't know.
I'm not sure who.
My
I can look it up.
previews world is wrong then.
Let me look it up while you tell me what you thought of the book.
Well, as I told the guys earlier today, this book is. I actually really enjoyed this issue. I just wish that the art had been by Sajak, like I thought it was supposed to be. I don't even know what I don't even know what was going on. Who's this new bad guy that we got introduced to? Not Ravager, but
he's basically like an acolyte of Azrael. He's like obsessed with Azrael, like in his mission, but he's not obsessed enough that he thinks he can take the mission over. So, well, I guess he's not an acolyte of Azrael because he's like looking for Cyborg. So,
the way I understood, is he from Saint Dumas?
Rapture, you guys are talking about?
Yeah.
Well, he does say, Azrael, I, Rapture, am your loyal servant, and only you can lead the world to their destiny. So I believe he thinks that he is Azrael's servant. And as you heard in the first issue, didn't hit the voice in his head tell him to like kill everybody? Like he was like, that you shouldn't be on here. Like you should. I forgot what happened in the first issue, but I remember thinking that we could see a turn for Azrael where he goes against them.
Yeah, but for some reason, like that city they're in, he thought he was tracking down Cyborg to find Azrael because like he's in that Cyborg city where they have a huge statue of Cyborg. So I don't know. Like for all I can tell is that Rapture wants to find Azrael, and he'll do it by any means necessary so that Cyborg utopia can exist. I don't know.
Felipe Briones is the artist.
Like Darkseid exited stage left like really quickly after issue 2.
He's in this issue.
Yeah, but then he shows up in this issue though.
He does. But like, I thought this book was going to be about a mission, and it's more like, here's more plants. Like, here's more seeds that we're going to plant all over the series.
I don't think that necessarily. I think Darkseid is leading them on a mission, but he's more pushing them without them knowing, because he's trying to make them form a team and do whatever he wants without having them know that Darkseid's the one pushing them towards that mission. So he's like trying to be other people to like help them out and gain their trust and like say, hey, you should do this. But he knows if he would have told them, they wouldn't have done it. So he's kind of like the man. He's like the Wizard of Oz right now. He's the man behind the curtain, and he's trying to do it. And eventually they'll be like, hey, who's back there? And be like, oh, it's Darkseid. And we'll see what happens then. But
I thought he seemed more like Gandalf. Where he like all of a sudden Gandalf's like, hey, I'm going to go to some other place. I'll be back when you guys desperately
you know it's Gandalf all the time. They don't think they're working for somebody else. I'm saying they don't know it's Darkseid.
Oh, I see.
So Wizard of Oz, like they don't know who really that guy is. They just have this kind of, they get tricked into doing stuff. I mean, that's not the best analogy also, but they're just getting tricked into doing what he wants, and they wouldn't have done it if Darkseid, because you saw in the first issue when he's like, I need your help, and they're like, no, we're going to help you. So he's like, okay, well, I got to try to trick them into helping me, and that's why he's kind of like in the background, being like, okay, I'm still going to push them towards the mission, but they won't know I am doing that.
Now, normally Darkseid can't transform into other people, right? He's not a master of disguise.
He's a powerful guy. I don't know. He can do what he wants.
Yeah, that's probably the first time I've seen him do it. So
it might be technology. Who knows? Might be that new suit he has on. The art from Felipe, I will agree, Alex. Sajak is a better artist. It's something special about his art that I enjoy looking at and reading a story from it. This was not bad at all. This actually probably looked pretty great, but it also was disappointing that it wasn't Sajak just because his art is so special, I think. And like it stands out. So for like, if this would have been the artist from issue 1, I don't think it would be that bad. But since I'm used to seeing Sajak and like I know that he could be on this book, that's what the thing was like, oh, okay, I wish it was him.
Well, I thought that there was that delay of the first 3 issues needed to be done, so I expected the first 3 issues to be Sajak's art.
No, the first 2...
It's just me being picky.
The first 2 were made, and DC scrapped them, so they had to remake them. So I believe that might have put him behind so he couldn't do issue 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I still wonder what it was that they had to redo them.
I think online they've released what the idea was. I never actually read it just because I was like, I don't really want to go down that path of reading something that's never going to happen, but I guess I could.
Yeah, that's true.
But I know online I saw something about they were just saying what they were trying to do. I believe it. There was a member that was supposed to be on this team that no longer is on this team, and somebody was supposed to die or something like that, and they didn't really like that.
Whoa.
I'm not sure for sure. I would have to look, but for me, actually, I do enjoy the story a lot. I actually thought that at first, the beginning of this issue, I was like, "Oh, am I going to like this?" It took a little bit to get into, but by the end, I really did enjoy this. I like the way that it doesn't feel like a Justice League book. It feels like more of a sci-fi adventure with people from the Justice League. And it feels enjoyable knowing that it feels like a big story is going to happen and it's not just going to be one arc and then, okay, we'll go on to something else. It feels like this might be a story for a while. So I actually do enjoy that about this.
So Darkseid is Rapture in this book?
No, he's the other guy.
No.
That
He's the
heals
doctor.
Starfire.
He's the what?
The guy that
He's the
heals
doctor.
Starfire. The doctor. That heals Starfire?
Green Doctor that comes to heal Starfire
Interesting.
on the junk planet.
Yeah.
Like I think this is the best JL book coming out right now, but that's not really comparing it to anything. That's bananas, apples, and oranges because you're getting Snyder's world building JL. Right now we're stuck in the drowned world. I actually haven't read the last issue of JL Dark because I just don't know if I care. And I enjoy this book. I think this book has a good narrative going on, and most of the time the art's really good. Even this art was pretty solid. These bad guys, or not even bad guys, but the slavers, they're all dicks. I'm glad that they beat the crap out of them.
I think this is the freshest one out of those three. The other two had promised something fresh, and I think they just reverted back to what we've been seeing before. So that's kind of why they felt not interesting. I think this one actually is delivering on being something different. So that's why I enjoy it.
But
I guess I totally missed that. I don't know.
But you missed
I guess
Darkseid?
I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
That Darkseid was that doctor.
So he was in there for a good chunk, but it wasn't him. So it was somebody. It was him as a doctor. So
I think this is the best Cyborg I've ever read.
yes, I 100% agree with that.
Where he doesn't seem to be just the technological. He actually has a purpose as a leader. He is very well thought out. I don't know how I feel about Azrael yet. I realize he's supposed to be just kind of that hot-headed muscle, but he's not. I don't know. I need to see more of an issue, or I need to see more issues with him being himself. He seems to be drowned in the back. Obviously, Starfire I think is amazing. They actually did a good job making me feel that she is still the princess, but she is a badass.
Jessica,
And I don't know
great.
enough about Jessica Cruz.
She's really great in this series so far. She's definitely an outsider for this group, but also she doesn't feel like she feels like in the Green Lantern's storyline at the beginning, she wasn't sure of herself, and eventually she finds confidence in how to control her anxiety. And so at least this character doesn't revert. A lot of times when somebody new writes a character, they revert them back to how they used to be, and we lose all that character development. This Jessica Cruz is that confident person who knows how to control her anxiety and is still powerful. And I enjoy that she is like a Green Lantern they can depend on. It's not somebody that's always messing up like she used to be. So, and I think she's great so far. And being like she's on their team, but also she's kind of like friction with them.
Well, she's got a job to do.
She's still like friction with them because she's not 100%. Like she didn't agree to come on this. She just got like dragged along. So it's good to have her on the team to be that person of that voice of dissension. Go ahead.
I have to admit, the one thing that's hard about us doing this over the phone is I can't see you guys, so I don't know when you're going to talk. I think my favorite thing is with Jessica Cruz was her constructs she made. Sorry. It was the construct she made where it actually was like when the spaceship was going to be taken off from that planet that was getting destroyed. It made me so excited to see that. Giant thrusters on the back of their Kolu ship.
She is a fan of anime, so she usually does like dragons and shit. So maybe we'll see more of that coming up here. She likes to be more pop culture kind of stuff, so that's cool.
Yeah, it definitely is a good team. I mean, they all make parts of a whole, and Starfire being knocked out, that's like very detrimental to this team. Which is, I mean, she had a really quick recovery, which was nice. Still don't really know what's going on with this object they got in the beginning.
Yeah, we don't
Hopefully
really know.
we'll find out more in the issues to come.
For me, this is the DC book that I enjoy most. It's like entertaining, like it's not too heavy. It's in like a nice read that for me is like superheroes being superheroes, but also it's nice that it's kind of sci-fi-ish. So for me, I'm really enjoying this ride. For me, this issue was a 9. We'll see if Steven was on this book, Sajak, this would have been a 10 for me. But otherwise, I enjoyed everybody's interactions. It was good.
I'd give it an. I'd stick with an 8. Thought it was really good. I just think, this far along, maybe know a little bit more about what's about to happen. I kind of felt like almost an issue 1 in a way. So I don't know. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but the art was great and the story is improving. So I think issue 4 will definitely be one to look forward to.
Alex?
Oh, Garrett.
No, what did you give the book?
Last book we got is Fantastic Four, number 4, written by Dan Slott with art by Stefano Caselli.
Oh, no, Alex, you never said your rating for the book, did you?
Yeah, I said 9.
Oh, okay. I think you both talked at the same time. That's why. Fantastic Four. Here's the thing about this book. Maybe you guys will be surprised, or maybe you won't be surprised. This book was...
I loved it. It was great. That was me being you, Marv.
Hey, listen for a second. This book was probably the worst issue of the 4 I read, and also the best issue of the 4 I read.
I would agree with that. Like, it's got some great Fantastic Four stuff, but it has also some very campy, cliches in the entire issue that I'm like, this is kind of not good.
Well, for me, everything until we got back to New York City, I didn't enjoy. And then after that, I enjoyed the book. And I was like, okay, that's Fantastic Four.
Oh, really?
We had a lot of Future
I
Foundation.
enjoyed the stuff on space.
No, I didn't. We had a lot of Future Foundation stuff. And it was I don't know. It was a lot of getting rid of old storylines and characters. And then finally, when they got back to Earth, it was kind of like, okay, now let's actually go. I actually felt when the book picked up and now we're going to tell our story. The rest was clean up from storylines before.
But see, there's one gripe I had is that when we're in space, they're even talking about a storyline that's yet to come. And I don't care about when Bobby Drake was on Fantastic Four. No one cares about Iceman showing up.
Yeah, it's just creating potential to tell stories. I think that I would agree with that. The last 2 issues have really felt like the Fantastic Four. First 2 issues was just kind of the big old space opera. Whereas this, it's we're getting the team back together, the family back together. They're in New York. They're in their home territory. They're finding out what's happened since they've been gone, when Peter Parker basically screwed up so huge that he lost the Baxter building, basically. And that's their home. Things getting married. You got the 2 kids, Franklin and what's the girl's name?
Val.
I mean, they're new characters I've never read before. I know that Jonathan Hickman's FF run they brought those kids into the picture, I believe. Not that I really know. It's my first Fantastic Four book, but
what was your
I think
question?
it is fun. I don't know if Val and Franklin are introduced in Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four run or not.
Oh, they've been around forever. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I've never read anything about them except for the Avengers run by Hickman.
I believe they've been around since the 90s, since Mark Waid wrote them, or Mark Miller wrote it too.
Okay.
They've been around for a while. I've noticed every single Fantastic Four story since I started reading comics I've read, they've been in there. So,
but I think, I will give it to Dan Slott. I think he understands these characters and how they interact with one another. That I do feel usually when he was writing Spider-Man, I'd be like, oh, Dan Slott's writing Spider-Man. I think he's actually doing a great job writing this team because I just get thrown in the book and I'm like, yeah, that's Johnny. Yeah, that's the Thing. Yeah, that's Reed. Yeah, that's Sue. And I do enjoy that for that aspect. Them fighting a different version of the Fantastic Four. I didn't really like that much, but it does kind of show. It's throwing it in their face, well, you guys kind of just left. So what do we do? There's heroes need to protect the city, and you're gone. So
I don't know what my problem is. I think I like the Fantastic Four. This feels like the Justice League for me, where I'm not sure if I even like the characters or the team. Because I grew up watching the Fantastic Four TV show or the cartoon. I love that show. It's so good. I read this book and I'm like, really? This annoys me. And I'm fine with the book not being serious. I'm fine with the book being lighthearted and dumb. But when I watch one of the smartest characters in the Marvel Universe literally be an idiot, it bugs me. And it's not like Reed Richards was confused when he was like, "Oh yeah, we should go help those guys." No, you should keep your nose out of it. I don't know. It bugged me.
But that was the point. He knew he was supposed to get involved. It was a lesson for Valerie to get her out of her rut and get her back to thinking critically. Was like, okay, let's do this. At the end, he was like, okay, what took you so long? It was a test for her. He knew not to get involved from the beginning. So
even though I read that, I'm still like, I don't think this book is for me. I think I want to see how the wedding goes, and I think I need to drop this book because this is just.
Well, Alex, actually,
I don't care.
After I tell you how much that wedding issue cost, maybe you won't even pick up that issue.
Oh no, are you kidding me?
It's gonna be $10.
No, it's $8.
Nope.
Oh my god.
I actually like it when they got back to Earth and they fought the Fantastics. I actually enjoyed that a lot, and actually felt like that was what I wanted out of this book. Even though I enjoyed the first 3 issues, but the only thing for me was the art. And I don't mind Caselli, but I like Pacelli more. But I did see that starting with the next issue that Adam, I think, Cooter is taking over the book, so that'll be good at least. I like his art a lot, so I'm excited to see where this goes. I did enjoy it a lot, but also once again biased. So this was like a 9 for me.
I'd give it a 9 also. I think they're finally Dan Slott, this team is figuring out who the Fantastic Four are, and it's very early in the book, and that gets me excited because I want to see this family function as superheroes, so I'm excited.
I want to like this book, but I don't. I'm going to give it a 6.
I also want to say I do like that Dan Slott knows which characters should be telling jokes and which ones should not be. Like Reed doesn't really joke around that much, which is great. Val doesn't joke around that much, which is great because they're supposed to be kind of almost the same personality. But Garrett was saying, Johnny is being Johnny, and like he's joking around. And when Spider-Man was in this issue for a little bit, he was the one joking around. So I do like that he knows when to pick the jokes and make everybody the same kind of jokey, quippy character. So that for me, I enjoyed. Okay, well, those are all the books, right?
Yeah.
Boys, we got Fantastic Four number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Man-Eaters number 3. Black Panther number... What issue was Black Panther?
6.
Heroes in Crisis number 3. We have... what else did we get? Terrifics number 10. And also Justice League Odyssey number 3, I believe. Those are the comic books that come out this week, so make sure you pick them up wherever you pick up your comic books. That shit can be your local comic book shop or online anytime. Once again, not your mother. I don't know where you pick up books. Jeez. Well, guys, we have a game here. So they're not in the room with me today. So I'm thinking, what are we going to do? We could have a conversation, but I thought it was a little too late in the game to send you guys something to talk about. So I thought I'd make a game, something that actually works best when we're not in the same room. That way there's no cheating. That can happen. You guys will be on a team in a game I like to call Who's That Superhero? So here's how this is going to work. I have 6 pictures of a superhero. I'm going to text you guys. So there's 3 rounds. Round 1 should be the easiest, then a medium round, and then a hard round. And their first round's worth 1 point each. Second round, 2. Third round, 3 points. You have to get at least 9 points overall to win the game. Here's how it works out. I'm going to text one of you guys the picture. You have to explain to the other person the picture so they can guess who the superhero is. You cannot use proper nouns, and you can't say any part of the person's name. So, for instance, if it's Superman and Garrett asks, is it a man or a girl? You can't say a man. you get to say it's a male, obviously. So you can't use part of the name. Or they say what color is the clothes, and you have somebody like Red Arrow. You can't say it's red. Understand? No part of the name can be said. Those numbers are blocked off. The name.
Oh, I see. Okay, so Red Arrow is red. But
so Red Arrow, those two.
If I have Superman and I go, this character red wears red and blue.
Yeah, you can say that. I'm saying, so when you're saying, then you can't say the character's name, but not even in terms of the context of like green and saying it's like Green Lantern, right? So if it's Green Lantern, green and lantern are words you cannot use, but also proper nouns. So you can't use proper nouns. So like in their name, you can't use Hal Jordan, stuff like that. So anything else should be okay. And you have to describe the picture. You don't describe the character in general. Whatever the picture looks like, you have to describe to the other person what they're doing, where they're at, what they look like in the picture. Okay? So let me.
But if you guess the character, then you get like if Superman flying, then I get the point.
It's just the character, right, Marvin?
Just the character. And you're gonna have 45 seconds for each round. So, all right, who's that superhero? Here we go. I sent you guys the pictures there, and we're gonna start first with Alex. Alex, 45 seconds to explain to Garrett who the character is based on that picture without saying their name and without using any proper nouns. Garrett, you will have 45 seconds to guess. This will be worth 1 point of the 9 that you need to get throughout the game to win. Who's that superhero? So, Alex, when you're ready, get set and go.
I have red hair. I'm from Marvel.
What did you say?
From Marvel.
Black Widow.
Correct. Okay.
Yes.
Black Widow. That's 1 point for Team Alex. Garrett. There we go. Let's reset the timer here. Garrett, do you have your picture ready?
Yep.
Black Widow was the first one there. Alex chose to go with red hair Marvel, which was a good choice. Could have said Mary Jane, but Garrett says Black Widow. He knows that's Black Widow right away. Garrett, 45 seconds on the clock. Alex, ready to guess in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Has a goatee, is charming, and loves a
Green
bird.
Arrow.
There we go. 2 points. 2 points out of the 9. The first round's very easy. I want to give you guys some confidence. Then we're going to move on to round 2, which is going to be worth 2 points each of the 9. So if you guys get both these, then I guess this game's over right away. I thought it was harder than I thought it would be. Here we go. Alex, I'm going to send you yours right now. And Garrett, I'm going to send you yours right now also. And Alex, let me know when you get yours, and then you can go ahead with the second round of Who's That Superhero?
Holy shit.
Remember, you can't say any part of their name. All right? Go ahead. Now.
Yep. I'm from DC. I'm wearing orange and yellow. I'm part of the Secret Six. I'm a male.
Oh. What's his name? The Panther? No.
You're on the right track.
Keep going.
I have a thing for not dogs.
Oh, something cat. Wildcat.
No.
Nope.
Not
7 seconds.
dogs, male.
Not dogs, male. Gosh.
Time is up. There we go. Catman was the answer. Catman was the answer.
Catman. Okay.
Catman was the answer. Garrett, are you ready with yours?
Yes.
45 seconds on the clock. Alex, hands on the buzzer. Here we go. Go.
Has robotic children. Has a floating plant. Can
Magneto.
phase through walls.
Barry Allen, The Flash,
Marvel character.
Kitty Pryde.
Can phase through walls. Has robotic children. Has a floating plant.
Who is a floating plant? Doctor Strange.
Can phase through walls.
Vision.
15
Vision.
seconds. There you go. There we
I
go.
think, where have I seen a floating plant from? But yeah, Vision.
4 points.
Robotic children didn't give it away?
There's a lot of people who got robotic kids.
So you got one of those out of the possible 2. That's 2 points plus both of the first round. That's 4 points total. Of the total 9 that you have to get, which means the next round is worth a total of 6. And you need to get both of them to win the game. Otherwise, you guys will lose. So let me send your final round ones and see if you can get it. And also, remember when I say proper nouns, that means no artist name, no writer's names. I need you to describe what's on the picture.
Did I do that last time?
No, I'm just saying for the next round.
Oh, okay.
As it gets harder, I know you're going to be like, okay, this person writes the book. That's not what we need.
But I can use the team like Sinister Six, or what have you.
Technically, that's a proper noun. So I didn't catch that. So good on you. But yeah. So we'll see. Alex, did you get your picture?
Yes.
Okay. When you're ready, go.
This is the game I've been playing. This character wears red and blue.
Spider-Man.
Marvel.
Spider-Man.
There's also a vehicle.
Spider
Buggy?
Tank. Spider.
There you go.
I think I already got it.
Yeah, you got
Superior
it.
Spider-Man.
So 7 points. There you go. This is the last one to see if you guys win this game. It's all up to Garrett.
Garrett's still playing the game.
It's all up to Garrett. Alex, hand on your buzzer.
I'm ready.
Garrett, go ahead.
Spokesperson of her family.
What?
Spokesperson of her family fights other spokespeople of their families.
Lazarus?
What's, last name?
Carlisle? Forever
Oh.
Carlisle?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. You guys win the game. 10 points.
Woo!
I thought it'd be a little harder. I guess not. I guess I didn't think that through. The Forever one, I thought it was going to be so hard. They're never going to get that one. But Garrett pulled through.
When you said spokesperson, I thought, whoa, what? And then you're
Well,
like,
I think like version 2 of this game would be more like Taboo, where there's like a list of words you can't say.
Yeah.
About that, I mean, that'd make it way harder.
Well, there we
yeah, but
go.
then we have to have more than 45 seconds because I thought you were going to get Catman when I told you not dogs, male.
There we
Yeah,
go.
but I was thinking like, bitch, like what?
There we go. Who's that superhero? Alex and Garrett with the win for 10 points out of the possible 9 they need to win 1 over. They went 1 over. Wednesday Comics podcast for the week. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, or Spotify. Wednesday Comics 605 at gmail.com. That's the email address. You can send us an email or on Twitter at Wednesday Comics at Marvin Saguaro. Just haven't done this in a while. Alex Pastrello. No, Alex _Pastrello and at Rot2188. Jesus, I missed this whole thing up.
I don't have an underscore in mine.
Oh, Marvin _Saguaro. I do. You don't. Alex Pastrello. Facebook.com/Wednesday Comics Podcast. Make sure you go there to leave a comment or like the page. Make sure your friends to like the page also. YouTube, you can find us there for our content. The Gauntlet, which only had 1 episode this month. What else do we got here?
Hey, speaking of that, I want to bring that up. So, fans, as you've noticed, the Gauntlet has been almost non-existent. I just want to explain what happened is we did get together 1 week. There was Thanksgiving in there. There was a snow issue that the Gauntlet did not come out. And then this last week there was another snow issue. So I promise the Gauntlet will be back on a more consistent schedule. If I can't do it with these guys, I promise I'll have it to you guys way earlier than what we've been doing, and we'll get more consistent schedule with the Gauntlet again.
You know what I vote for? If you can't get it, if we can't get together, you just go live on YouTube and you do it.
Ooh, I wouldn't mind doing that.
All right.
Swing it.
Subscribe to us and make sure you see Garrett live on YouTube. We got a book club, right?
Wednesday Comics, League of Extraordinary Gentle People, proudly presents
Saga, the Swamp Thing, Volume 2.
Coming up here, first week in January, we're going to be reviewing that book. So make sure to leave your voicemail, 605-215-1849. Make sure you leave an email or leave us a drop on one of our social media pages. Speaking of Swamp Thing, rootsofswampthing.com, your definitive source for all things Swamp Thing. Be sure to visit them at Juicy World Swampy on Twitter or Facebook.com/Roots of the Swamp Thing. RootsOfTheSwampThing.com. It will be your one-stop destination for all things Avatar the Green. Holland Files number 3 is available for pre-order, so make sure you go there and pre-order that book. And I am a little behind, sorry, Boylan, but I'm writing an article for one of the Holland Files. I'm not sure which one, 3 or 4, but it will come out. So you have a little contribution from Wednesday Comics there. So, boys, end of the November, beginning of December, we're getting into award season. We're getting into the 3rd annual Christmas party. We're going to see Steven probably. Steven again. He's a good man. He's going to probably be at the restaurant all ready for us. I think at this point he knows to keep things nice and tidy for the boys. So, and maybe finally he'll bring Alex that water.
Doubt it.
So I made reservations. We're going to show up at the restaurant, do our annual Christmas party after the awards. And, I'm looking forward to it. Christmas time of the year is the best part of the year. And you know what they say, Alex, when you get a machine gun, right?
Ho, ho, ho.
My name is Marvin.
I'm Alex.
I'm Garrett.
Hey, everyone. Keep turning those pages.